Hello everybody, it's your techie challenge friend Kit here with Paperkitz, and I am working on making a ton of these little books today. These are 3x4s, and this is one of our 12x12 projects, and there are several different designs. I'm going to show you this one first so we can get through it. It's the hardest one to make. And people had asked me in the past, what do you do with those little books? Well, it's like Polaroid and Fuji knew I was needing some pictures that were sized exactly to fit these 3x4 books. And look at this. These are those new little pictures that like I said, the Polaroid and the Fuji spits out. I think Polaroid's the U.S. brand and Fuji is the imported brand because the film fits both cameras. I have the purple, I think it's the Polaroid one, but perfect. And also, they are fun to use, and this is one that I've been working on. Put a sleeve on this one because this one's getting so fat. This was a road trip that I took with one of my best friends, and I put all the photos in a collage program. I think it's PicFrame. I'm not sure which one, but there's tons of them out there. And print them all different sizes on one sheet of the 4x6 in my selfie printer, and then I chop them all up, and perfect for these little books. So this is another design. Actually, this is a compilation of several designs that I put into one book because I wanted a little bit bigger one with more pages, which then made it fatter, which then I had to put a sleeve on it because the closure that I usually use would interfere with my picture on the road again. So I made a sleeve. So that's always a good way. And now I'm going to decorate this sleeve somehow or another, but I need to finish the book first because I have to go in there and put all my journaling in it. So again, I make a ton of these, especially recently because I'm trying to get my camera to work, but they're fun to have anyway. I use them for weekend trips, for just a day out with a girlfriend, for a grandbaby event, maybe a little dancing or singing event where I have a lot of pictures that tell a story. And again, different designs, which we'll go through the different designs, different ways to make them. I'm going to do the most labor-intensive cutting one first, just to get the hardest out of the way, because that's the way I like to do things. And you can decorate them, you can make them cute whimsy, you can make them vintagey. I've used washi tape, and I'll show you why there's washi tape on a lot of them. I did one out of craft paper. I really like my vanilla cardstock though. This one has a closure actually at the bottom instead of on the side. So just some fun things, and once you get a bunch of them going, they're neat to display like in an old cheese box or one of those fancy sewing drawers, or throw them all in a basket. And they're just fun to pick up and look through. And again, they're real easy to keep in your purse, keep in your pocket, in a backpack, wherever you want to, whenever you want to carry one around with you. They're easy to carry around. So this is the one we're going to make today. And it's got pockets on the front and the back. It's got a little envelope that we're going to make that has a little card tucked down inside of it. I'm all thumbs today. And I've recorded this so many times that I'm almost getting hoarse. But it's got a little envelope. It's got a little booklet. It's got another little booklet. It's just a fun thing. Lots of places to write, and the interior pages, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pages to put photos on or to journal on. And this one page has kind of this little artsy-fartsy effect on it. So I'll show you how to do it. And again, it's one page of 12 by 12. And you're going to say, Kit, why do you have washi tape already on your 12 by 12? Well, my answer is I ran out of my 12 by 12s, out of my favorite paper, and I only had 8.5 by 11s left. So I chopped up, actually used some scraps, and just got me a 12 by 12 by taping the pages together with washi tape, or the pieces. So we're going to pretend this is a piece of 12 by 12, which it really is. Now, it really is. And we're going to start with some cutting. Now again, this one has a lot of cuts, so you can do it. I'm not trying to intimidate you, but what I would suggest is as you cut your pieces, place them over to the side in the order you cut. Keep your 12 by 12 intact over to the side of you, and then we can address each piece as needed. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to say this is the top of the paper in case you have a pattern design of any type of profile you want to stay with. I'm going to call this the top of the paper. We're going to turn it one turn 90 degrees to the left, and no, you're going to turn it to the right. Hello. Techie challenged and directional challenged, it looks like. We're going to cut off 3.75 off the bottom of the paper. Just cut a strip all the way across 3 3/4. Okay? Now you've got your top, you got your bottom. Set the top off to the side in the proper direction. We're going to take this bottom and we're going to turn it to the left or the right. It doesn't really matter. It depends on, I want my washi tape across the top of this. So, do I? Yeah, I do. I want it across the top. So we're going to make a cut at 5.5 inches off of here. Can't think and talk at the same time. 5.5 inches. Okay? So we're left with two pieces. One 5.5 and the other, what would that be? 6.5? Yeah. So, yeah. Set it over to the side now. Your bottom strip basically is cut, so we won't have to cut on it anymore. So take your big piece, your big top piece, that's going up, and we're going to make a cut here at 6 1/4. 6.25. Yay, it hits the washi tape good. 6.25. Now we have a left and a right piece section, okay? We're going to next use this, the right piece section? The right piece section. Yes, we're going to use this one. So place this left piece section back in its spot. Take your right piece section and put the long side up at the top of your cutting board. And we are going to cut 3.75 off of this. 3 3/4. Okay, now we're going to take that and put it back in its spot, keeping this piece and turning it with the long side up, and we're going to cut 1/4 inch off of it. Did I do that right? Yes, I did. We're going to cut 1/4 inch off, and that little 1/4 inch strip is going to be used as a spine later on if you desire to do that. So don't lose it. Hang on to it for the time being and set your pieces back where they go. Now the next thing we're going to do is take the piece below that one. That would be your middle piece on the right hand side. That measures 5 3/4 by 4.5. And we're going to place it in the board with the long side up, and we're going to cut off 4 inches. Is that right? Yeah, that doesn't look right. Oh no, we're going to cut 1/2 inch. Never mind. Put it back in your board with the short side at the top. That's why it looked too long. I need to cut a 1/2 inch off the bottom of this too, because we're going to use that for the spine. 1/2 inch off. I used my markings on this side of my scoreboard. If you don't, just set your left edge at the 4-inch mark and you'll be slicing a 1/2 inch off of there. That's going to be your spine, your closure piece, because we're going to use every single inch of this. Now we are going to turn this and cut 4 inches. Now we should have a, this is going to give us a 4-inch by 4-inch piece over here on this side, which is going to become our envelope. Okay, so set these pieces back, ready for scoring. Okay, now we're going to take the one big piece you have left, your upper left-hand corner piece, and we're going to put the long side at the top. This would be your, it's going that way. And we're going to cut off 5.5 inches. There we go. 5.5 inches over here. And this piece, we're going, this one's cut now. All we have to do is score. So set it back in your upper left-hand corner. This thin piece, we're going to put the long side up on this cutting board. I think I keep calling it a scoreboard. On your cutting board and cut off 4 inches. Okay? There we go. So now we've got all our pieces cut. And that wasn't too bad, was it? If I didn't confuse you. We're going to get our scoreboard out. Now we're going to work on the scoring of these pieces. So let's take the biggest piece that's in your little collage here, upper left-hand corner. It measures 5.5 by 6 1/4. Minus a hair. Okay. Get your scoring tool out. With your 6 1/4 across the top of your scoreboard, score this all the way down at 3 inches and then 3 1/4 inches. And get those scores good, because this is going to be the spine of your cover. Now we're going to turn this and score again at 1.5 inches. If you're going through washi tape, get it in there. Okay. Now we are going to, let me look at this to see, I like this maybe for the front cover. So I'm going to fold this in a direction I usually fold opposite my score lines. But this is just for design purposes. I want that at the edge, front edge of my booklet. So burnish in all those score lines. And you see it's not wrinkling up a little bit. You should always burnish opposite of the direction you scored, just to help your paper dance and stretch. But we burnish enough, it'll come around. It'll eventually be on my side. Okay, what we've created now is the cover. And I just like that, even though a little hokey on my washi tape because of wrinkles. Yes, I have a wrinkling day today. There is your cover. Next piece we're going to score is the upper right, which is the piece, I think it's, no, it's not the next largest piece, but it's your upper right piece that measures 5.5 by 3 3/4, 3.75. We're going to put it with the long side at the top, and we're going to score at 2.75, 2 3/4, which basically scores it right in the middle. Okay, and there's one of your insert pages to hold journaling and photographs. We'll set that aside. Now the next piece that we're going to do is the small piece in the upper left section under where your cover sat that measures 4 by 2.75. And yeah, we're going to score this right down the middle at 2. And this is one of our little booklets, or whatever we want to do with it. And it would be best if you scored it evenly and burnished it. There we go. Okay, got it in there. Throw it into your cover. Okay, the next piece that we're going to score is the little piece that's set right next to it in the upper left-hand corner that measures 2 1/4 by 2.75. And we're going to score it at 1.375, which is the tick mark between your 1 1/4 and your 1 1/2. And that should score it right in the middle too. Yes, it does. Another reason you might want to make note of the dimensions of each of these pieces is because you could make one of these books just out of scraps that you have laying around if you want to do it that way without taping a whole piece of paper together to make a 12 by 12 for your original cuts. You could just cut them the dimensions I'm giving you of each piece. So just a little thought there. The next piece that we're going to do is your bottom left. That measures 5 1/2 by 3.75. Long side in the scoreboard. And we're going to score this at 2.75, 2 3/4. Going through washi tape there. And that is going to make another of your page insert. Okay? So throw that in your book. Now the next thing we're going to do is the envelope. So in your the upper piece to the left that you have left is a 4 by 4 inch square. And I am just going to do a real easy, quick envelope on here by making marks every 2 inches on the sides. And then if you notice on my scoreboard, my 6-inch mark, I have run a Sharpie permanent marker down it because I use that for so many things, and this is one of the things I use it for, is I'm going to line up these pencil marks at the 6-inch mark, making note of where my point is at the top. You can see that it's setting at the groove right past the 4 1/2 inch mark, because I want to kind of hit that with all these corners if I can. And we can kind of adjust this. Well, this one doesn't hit, so apparently I'm, oh, what? Yeah, maybe it does. Yeah, it does. My eyeballs are clanking together. And you might want to just do light score marks. And then we'll burnish them in later. Going through some washi tape. You know, you'll see where all this is headed in a minute if I stop yakking and get to scoring. There we go. Now we're going to take these corners and fold them all in. We'll see how good we did. Not bad. They weren't all thumbs. So if you're happy with it, clap your hands. No, if you're happy with it, burnish. And we will lock down 3 of these with a piece of scrap, and I'll show you that in a minute. So set your envelope aside. We're ready to go on to the next piece, and that is the littlest one left. No, it's not. You've still got a skinny one, but it's the one upper right that measures 4 by 1 3/4. So what we're going to do on this one is put the long side up and score it at 2 inches. And this is the one I like to use for the little flip over tag journaling spot to stick inside my envelope. So I'll put that there. And we have this piece left. We're not going to do anything to it. It is the 1/2 inch by 5.75 inch strip. This is going to be your closure, and I'll show you here. It's going to be this piece and then your little belt that wraps around it. So set that aside for us to play with later. Take your last piece, and this is the most scoring intensive piece. So what I want you to do is put the long side up in your scoreboard, and we're going to score it at 2.75. I'm just taking it right down through my washi tape, but it's okay. Just have to make sure I make the fold on the washi tape and not on where the papers butt up next to each other. Then we're going to score it at 5.5, and 5.625, creating a little scored area in there. Okay? Now we're going to turn it, and we're going to come up, we're going to score all the way across at 1 inch, at 2 inch, and at 3 inches. Now what we've done is created a little corner up here, and I want to cut that off. And this is going to become, and cut right up through that little spine area we scored. This is going to become your closure on your envelope. And what I do is I play with it a little bit more on my scoreboard to give it some more dimension. Since we've got that little spine area already on one side, I go ahead, I don't know if you can see this, am I even in camera? I just go ahead and score all the way around the edges, just to give it more dimension. Just fun stuff, you know? Especially if you're going to ink it, that raised area will pick up some of that. So anyway, set that by your envelope. Bring this piece back, and you're going to cut on either side of each score line in the narrow section to create little flaps. Don't cut through your spine area. Leave that intact. Okay, fold all these flaps back. We're going to burnish now. There's the little tails that you have sticking out. We're going to cut all those off. Since you have those burnished back, it's easy just to snip these off now. I know you're tempted to pull them, and I'm tempted to pull them too, but I always cut them because if you pull, you could tear up into your paper. Just a little caution there. Go ahead and make your next score line here. Now that I think about it, you can do this burnishing at any point in time. You just don't want to burnish out those guidelines that came across. Okay, and now let's go back and burnish our spine area, which, yes, I want to make sure I picked up the spine instead of where the paper's butted up. Now, one more thing that I do on this is I put this back in my scoreboard. You can do this or not. And I come up and I score every 1/4 inch all the way across right up to your little spine area. And what we're doing is we are creating some embossed journaling lines, which gives you a little bit more dimension to your page, a little bit more texture, and lines you can actually follow to write on. So this is something you can do or not. It's up to you. I just like it, especially on these little ones, because any chance I have of getting texture or some animation going, interaction, I like that. And there you go. We're all done with that. See, it wants to form a spine there with where my pages butt together, so I need to discourage that. Okay, got it. Let's set the scoreboard away. Get it out of our hair. Get all our pieces back in here together. And I'll kind of show you what we're doing as we go through here. First thing I do is I'm going to punch my holes. And I have some crochet thread here. I don't think that's long enough because I'm notorious for pulling it out. Let's get us a long tail here. This is some crochet thread and a tapestry needle that has a blunt point so I don't stick myself. And it has a large eye on it, which makes it fairly easy to get your crochet thread through. Now that I said that, it's probably going to give me some problems, but let's keep going. Get in there. There we go. Okay, got my needle and thread ready to go. I've got my pokey tool and my little pad to stop it from poking holes in my table. And now I'm just going to eyeball. Those of you that like to measure can go ahead and measure. I come down about, let's say, 3/4 of an inch, 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, right in my spine area. Try to make it even on all sides. There we go. That's going to be our guide holes. And now I take my big pages. You've got 3 inserts. This one I like to put in first. So what I do, because I'm always in a hurry, is I lay my pages in the way I want them. And why has that got paper showing through? I guess it just hadn't come out. You can use a pencil. I just go ahead and use my little pointy thing to make notations of where I want these holes to be. And if you open your paper, oops, I think it made me a new set of holes there. Just poke them through, and don't poke yourself with this. I've probably been injured by this thing more times than by any other tool that I use. Okay, we're going to do that with the other 3 pages too. Try not to make a whole bunch of holes. Try to keep your holes right on your holes. Such profane advice. Another reason why it might be good to really use a pencil to do that. But again, I'm usually in a hurry and just go for the pokey tool. And it's probably why I have holes poked all over me too. So, one more. And be careful, don't just jab them in there like I was getting ready to do. Give it some support so you don't go ripping down your whole spine. Okay, we've got holes. Let's embed the pokey tool so it doesn't, perforation tool, maybe that's what it's called. I know it has a professional name, but I called it pokey tool for so long, it's just still pokey tool. Okay, we're going to tie our pages in now, so get them in the order you want them in. I like that one first. Let's do this one second, and this one third. And hopefully they're all in the right order. We will soon find out. Come in from your outside spine first. You know what? No, that's fine. It's where I sometimes make changes to my assembly. Check and make sure that your pages are all equal. If not, then you may want to turn one over like that one. I think my pokey hole was close though. If you measure, it shouldn't matter. They should all be lined up perfectly. Okay, pull your thread through without pulling all the way through. Give yourself plenty of tail to work with. There you go. Okay. Thumbs, all thumbs. Okay, make sure your pockets are turned up. And you see why I need a lot of tail room, because I go through a lot of maneuvers here. Okay, now they're all anchored together. So let's tie a knot at the top. And I'm going to leave some tails on this one because I'm going to put a charm on this. I haven't done that yet. And I found these on a shop hop this weekend. These Maya Road little musical notes, and I've used music washi tape. So I'm going to tie one of those on because I like the size, I like the shape. So I'm going to do that. So leave your tails long if you're going to add something to it. Put your needle away, although it's a blunt nose tapestry needle, so it won't hurt you too bad. And now we've got our little book intact. Now, for the inserts, you can leave them as they are. Just make little booklets out of them. This one, too, make note, I've rounded the edges on the cover, on the little booklet. Here's the other little booklet. This is the one, the fold over, that I like to put in the envelope. Okay. All those pieces are ready for you to just decorate. If you want to make a little booklet out of them all put together, you can do that too, just by doing another little spine area and having all different size pages, which is kind of clever. I like that. I love little tiny books, so I might do that with one of them. The only other assembly left to do is to take your envelope, take your little artsy-fartsy closure there. Do I want that? Yeah, I kind of like that coming up there. Take a little bit of glue. You note this is the only glue we've used so far on this book. Put it a dollop of daisy. Put a dollop of glue on all 3 points. Set this on it. Having to remember you're out there and not sitting beside me. Set this on it. Make sure you don't get any glue on the back like I just did. And this should dry pretty quickly. I use the Scotch Quick Adhesive, one of my favorite glues. Always. Okay, and then all we do is just tuck the tip of the envelope in and stick it into our pocket. So there you go, guys. Oops, I think I just undid that glued area. There you go. Now you've got a little booklet to take with you on a weekend trip, on a girlfriend's day, a girl's day, a grandbaby, or child production of some type, a little dance, a play. Add all these little photos in if you've got one of these cameras. If not, do what I showed you here. Get a collage program and load all your photos in them and cut them in all different sizes and shapes. Journal. And what else do I have to show you? Oh, I wanted to show this too. This is especially for the beginners. It's a book I'm working on, a road trip book. And this is so easy. You can make a bunch of these. And I came up with this because I wanted a tall, thin that I could use any direction. And I had a ton of 8.5 by 11 paper, the cardstock. So all you do is take 4 pieces and score them right down the middle, long ways. and then do a 1/4 inch score on each side of that score line. And then you just glue them to each other. Just stack them up in a stack, glue them to each other, and as you glue, make sure you don't encroach into past the score line. So I use 1/8 inch score tape just because it's perfect. And you're going to have a fun little journal and photo album, actually. I'm going to put some journaling spots in here, I'm sure. And I put a little pocket on the back page so I could put some journaling cards down in there. So I just wanted to show you that. You don't need a demo on that. It's just an idea to use up some of that 8.5 by 11 paper that you have. And I'm going to do more tutorials on the 12 by 12 projects. I'm working on my tags. These are on my Etsy shop. These are all the vintage grungy art tags that I like putting together to use them in a big old book, a book of its own. And all you have to do is download them, cut out the pieces, glue it together, and you can have this too. You can make this too. I'm doing one now using red ink to accent the pieces because it's going to print out in sepia and the brown tones. And the next tutorial that's coming up is going to be this. I'm still writing this tutorial. It's my World's Fair. I'm calling this the Genius Book because once you make one of these, you can pretty much use the tutorial to make any size you want. You can make tall ones, skinny ones, and they're basically full of pockets and hidden places. There you go, look at that. Okay? So anyway, that's what I'm working on now, and hopefully I'll be back with you shortly to give you another 12 by 12 project. Thanks everybody, take care of yourselves, and talk to you soon. Bye-bye now.